After the transition 2012-2015, worlds are dividing. Some people see it clearly and others still think that they are living in the same world and they are on the same place. However, everything has changed completely. And we can notice now that people live on one planet but in different worlds. And to reach compliance or to reach harmony in your system, in your understanding, you don't need to try to be friends and contact with all these different worlds, as you live in your own world anyway. The task is to create compliance in your own group, your family, any other system where you are now, and to know clearly how to cooperate with others to keep this harmony. And if there is harmony in relations of spirituality and physicality, a person can be harmonious in relation to his own nature, whatever he does. There are three criteria that a person behaves himself in the right way, according to his own nature. I want to stress it, that to his own nature, not to public opinion or the opinion of his all-knowing relatives or so-called helpful colleagues or friends. There are three signs or three questions that a person can answer positively to understand that he is right in relation to his nature, independently on what he does from the point of view of the outside observer. That means that he is on his way and he fulfills his tasks. A true love or natural love, we can say, it is the understanding of nature of the other person, then respect to this nature, and full contributing into opening up of the creative potential of the person whom you love. As another person, he's another person. It's not you. Low frequency person. As if he's not on his place and he can't understand his way and his own level, he won't understand everything that is higher in frequency than he is. And of course, in most cases, such person has problems in his personal life, of course. If you noticed it and you know now what is that, it's better to keep your energy and information field safe and to stay away from such person. Not to allow him to invade into your closed zone. As low frequency people, they do it very easily. While high frequency person will be always very polite and he will respect your personal space and he would never ask personal questions. As for him, you will be separate, self-sufficient, respectable person with your own life path. So we can also characterize people of high brain frequency as people who has the strong connection to their own generic energy. Actually, while a person is connected to his generic energy, the centers of perception open up. But we should remember that every person has his own generic energy and generic memory. And our seminars, and it is our main task to connect a person to his generic memory and generic energy. That's how people did in Russia before the period of revolutions, with the help of reading the information from all the levels of music, art, and dancing. As in all the families, children got basic skills how to sing, paint, and dance. It created a compliance not only in the family but in the future of their children. And this helps also to find a person who inspires you. It can be a person from present time or from the past. And this person, we can call him an ideal for a certain child. It will help this child to be connected to his generic energy. Let's talk a little about the difference between genetic and generic energies. We can call also generic kin energy or ancestral energy, but please don't mix this ancestral energy to the energy of your relatives. And of course, the community of people who are connected to their generic energy and who live in compliance, they can use all the different methods and techniques for education. And only high brain frequency people can connect others to their own generic energies, as they have their own channel. A low frequency person always wants to dominate, and a high frequency person, very often vice versa, doesn't want to lead, to rule, to control, as high frequency person has his own channel of generic energy and he gets all the necessary information and energy from it. He feels himself really good and he doesn't need this domination. But his main task is to learn how to rule. And there is also a question of money. As a high brain frequency person, he doesn't want to think about money because he's already happy. But it is necessary for high frequency people to learn how to deal with money, and they must be professionals in dealing with their money flow. And there is a vivid example with indigo children, as it is impossible to motivate them for career growth, as they are ready to wander and to have just a little money for food with no any fashionable attributes, but they really want to be out of this manipulating system. And they can succeed in it. First, that we need to realize that all this early education is a huge money-making industry. All the books and tutorials which are published, they are sold everywhere, and parents are caught on a hook thinking that if they get this book or tutorial or notebook, show it to a child with the bright pictures, it will help their child to be genius in the early age and then to be socially realized in society. So from the early age, even from several months, parents tries to prepare their children to be real leaders in society. And as early education is a really huge industry now, sooner or later any parent gets the information from the internet, from the TV, from some newspaper that it is so necessary to educate your child from the early age, otherwise there is no any possibility to get a self-sufficient adult. And this great desire, sometimes desire of a parent to give great full early education to a small child, brings to the real incompliance in the family. As children, from the beginning, they are not interested in it. As from their birth till 5, for example, they have another period of mental development, and they need another things, not reading, writing, and counting. It is important to understand that most of the parents try to educate their child from the early age only because of the self-satisfaction of their ego that tells them, if your child is the best, you're the best. And actually, it is the strongest psychological pressure. And adults play the role of the inspectors. And children feel this pressure. And of course, it influences them. But in the euphoria of his talent, the child can at first simply ignore this feeling of pressure and internal tension, which destroys him from the inside, waste his energy, which was aimed to their life support, and certainly not for giving evidence of his talent. But we see here again that parents have no any knowledge about that, and they don't want to have this knowledge. And it is the child who suffers from that. And of course, at this particular moment that we see a child is on the TV show and he's happy and seems to be successful, life is so good, but later in many, many years, this girl will also feel the consequences. The husband of this lady dead, Of course, we won't go into the reasons of that, but it is her suffering, and she, indirectly, makes her son suffering to share her own sufferings, and she hides it under the care about the life of her son. It is one of the most harmful types of incompliances in a family, and it is a distortion called multi-care or multi-attention, we can say. So, an excessive care. And many children suffer from it, and they are unable to live the full life. Then, as they got used to be in a secure atmosphere where there is no need to do something and to think. Moreover, if they tries to be just a little bit independent, or better to say self-sufficient, parents are not happy about that. They can be even angry. And of course, as for parents, it is easier to turn their attention to the child rather than solving their own problems, as they seem much more complicated. And certainly they will say that a child is the first one to care about. However, when a parent is not happy and is not in harmony, it creates great disharmony in the family atmosphere, which causes huge inner problems in children's souls.